as soon as I did the dive, I just looked at the board and I waited for the judges, and they gave me 55, and I knew I was ecstatic.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Warrior Weekly. I'm Brady Beedon. He is Kevin Brechmacher. And Kevin, the Wayne State softball team got back on track, back-to-back sweeps. They did it all in one-run games. It wasn't maybe the flashiest or prettiest 4-0, but it's a 4-0.
4-0 is 4-0, Brady. Whether you win by 10 runs or win by 1 run, some classics in there as well, including the first game of the series. I got to call on Saturday, a 12-inning affair, win over Roosevelt. How about Sydney Long? We'll talk about her throughout the podcast today, but what a weekend for her. Got off to a really shaky start, hit 3 batters in the first inning on Saturday against Parkside. Had a run given up then, gave up a run in the second. Wayne State's down 2-0. And from that point on, the rest of the weekend, Brady, she didn't give up a run her entire time on the mound. 17 1/3 inning scoreless streak she has going now, starting in that second inning on Saturday. What a job for her. Wayne State clawing out the win in the 12th. It should have been over before then, in my opinion. Wayne State had a bunch of chances to score in extra innings with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. Just couldn't get them in. Finally did with a Koopman infield single in the 12th. And then in game 2, they came back with another good effort to sweep. And then you saw them. You can probably talk more about yesterday, Brady. You called the game on Sunday. But I thought coming into the weekend, Wayne State needed a sweep to get themselves back in the mix after dropping all 4 games on the road a week ago to start the season. That's exactly what they did. Now they go back on the road this week.
Well, let's start with the games against Parkside. Like you mentioned, it was 2-0, 2 innings in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were sitting there going, this might be a long game.
Yeah.
And then 9 straight scoreless innings to finish it out. I think she threw 180-some pitches, which is extremely efficient. That's pretty good for 12 innings to not throw like 300 pitches. But then you kind of lost in that the next game after winning in 12. Hayden Batten goes 7 scoreless. That gets lost after a 12-inning win. Is they win 1-0. The offense was never great this weekend. A lot of their runs scored on wild pitches or because of errors. They didn't string a lot of hits together, but they were opportunistic. And Breck, these are games that they weren't winning last year.
There hasn't been a lot of power being shown at the plate for Wayne State so far this year. Some of the batting averages are pretty good, as we were talking about before we started taping today, but the power numbers haven't been there. So if you're Wayne State, you gotta be able to manufacture. I know that's an old baseball softball term, manufacturing runs. Well, but they have to kind of do that. They got to play small ball. They got to score on pass balls. They got to take extra bases when they can, and that's what they did this weekend. Sydney Long also want to shout out a new school record, 18 strikeouts, albeit in a 12-inning game. And it's funny because I made a comment during the broadcast on Saturday when I think we got to the 11th inning, and Sydney just kept throwing pitch after pitch after pitch. I'm like, this has got to be a career high in pitches for her. I'll bet my game check on it that it is. Just being funny. And of course, Jeff Weiss, being the wizard of Wayne State as he is with the statistics, he got on his phone and checked, and her previous career high was 187 against Parkside in the tournament last year. So she saved me by a 1 pitch going 12 innings to keep my paycheck from the game Saturday. So she did set a new career high in pitches thrown by 1. Her previous was 187 against Parkside last year. But I don't know how her arm didn't fall off. I know underneath is definitely more of a normal motion. Yeah,
it looked pretty good.
Yeah, she got another win. It's just 7 more scoreless innings. So
now because the school record with 18 is impressive in a different way than the previous one was, because that was in a 7-inning game.
Yeah.
The last one was 17 strikeouts and 22 batters faced, which is an impressive just efficiency feat, just the absolute dominance. The 18 through 12 innings is impressive just because the consistency you have to have over that time, because Wayne State's not a program right now where they have one ace and they say, all right, you're going out there for better or for worse, you're throwing every pitch. No, it would not have been. I don't think in the 9th or 10th inning, if they would have made a change, you would have been like, oh, what is Coach Tynes doing? That would have been a very normal reaction just due to fatigue. So to hold on for that long, that's pretty impressive.
It is. I mean, again, it's more of a natural motion than the pitching motion, obviously, so you can throw more pitches in softball and bounce back the next day and pitch again like she did yesterday against Roosevelt. But still, just inning after inning that went by, they finally went to the ghost runner in the 10th. That's the rule in softball. We were discussing before we started taping whether they should just do the ghost runner from the first extra inning on. I think they should. You were like, nah, let's just do a couple normal innings and then go to the ghost runner, and that's what they did. But Wayne State just continued to have chance after chance. Parkside had one decent chance to score in extra innings, but other than that, give Sidney Long and Wayne State credit. Even when Parkside got the ghost runner on second base, they really were not threatening to score, except that one time. I believe it was in the 10th inning when they had a decent chance to score with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. But just, I mean, you think a 12-inning game, it's going to go 4 or 5 hours, right? No, 2.5-hour game, and then 20 minutes later, we had game 2 underway, and that was pretty quick as well. So it was exciting to watch and call, just because you just were sitting there thinking, I don't know, Brady, if anybody's going to score here. I mean,
right.
we could be playing. There's no lights out there at Bryce Field, so you got to finish at some point. But I'm like, man, this game could just go forever. But give Wayne State credit, kind of wrapping up their thoughts on the weekend, just doing a good job of getting 4 wins, get themselves back to 4-4 in conference play before a big road trip this week.
And then they did beat Roosevelt 1-0. Sidney Long again came back through 114 pitches, 7 innings, 3 hits, walked 2. That was at the end. Struck out 4 and was very efficient as they get a 1-0 win. Matty Houle had a sac fly RBI in the 4th, and that's all they needed.
It's all they needed, 1-0. And then in game 2, Brady, I know to talk about this.
Game 2.
You got to describe that crazy play. I heard about it. I saw the replay, but you were there to call it.
Wayne State went up 4-0 in the first, and 3 of those runs came on a bases clearing passed ball. And it honestly wasn't as crazy as you'd think. It was just a wild pitch, scored the first run. Tried to throw her out. The throw was off. Second run came in. Tried to throw her out. Off the mark again. Third run came in. A very little league play. But I will tell you, sometimes you say be process-based, don't be results-based. And usually you say that when you do things well, but you don't get the result you want. I will say, at least for game 2, the process was not as good as the result for Wayne State. They got out hit 10-3.
Yep.
But they held on to win 5-4 because, again, the 4-run first. In the 7th inning, they went up in the 6th, they went up 5-2 on a kind of innocuous wild pitch that Kate DeWitt scored on. And honestly, I didn't think it was a great decision to go, because if they hold on to the ball, I think she's out. But it made it 5-2. And then Roosevelt, first 2 batters went out pretty easily, and then bang, triple, bunt, single up the middle, double steal, and now it's 5-4, and the tying runs at third and the go-ahead runs at second. And you're going, wait, there was just nobody on with 2 outs 30 seconds ago, and they ended up getting the final out. But they're out hit 10-3 in the game. Roosevelt was probably kicking their way all the way back to Chicago, but they ended up getting the win. You take it because those are the wins you weren't getting. However, that's not a recipe for success.
Yeah, going forward, that's not the way you want to do business if you're Wayne State, to get out hit by 7, to have to score a wild pitch insurance run to keep you out in front in the 7th inning, and again, your blood pressure probably went from, or your heart rate went from a sitting heart rate of maybe 60 beats a minute, and then boom, about 30 seconds later, it's back up to about 115 because you're getting a little nervous about finishing the game off. But again, every win's a win. But yes, I want to see from Wayne State, after watching them play twice this week, and then reading about the games yesterday that you called, Brady, and actually tuned in a couple times to listen to. Got to hit the ball better. Wayne State has got to find more consistent offense and find some power in there somewhere. But you can't just keep living on these 1-0 wins. You can't expect the pitcher to go out and pitch 12 innings and go 10 straight scoreless. You got to find a way to score runs, especially on the road. But yeah, going forward, Wayne State's got to score more. But again, for this weekend, for these 4 games, It worked, and they're 4-4, and that's all they were looking to accomplish coming into the week.
You can acknowledge that. All right, this is not going to be the way moving forward. However, you don't apologize for the wins either, because no one would feel bad if you lost games like that. Baseball split out in Caledonia against Davenport. They took the Friday game 7-4, dropped Saturday, dropped the first game on Sunday before bouncing back with a 10-5 win. So they split, and I would have loved for them to take 3 or 4. That's what we talked about last week. I mean, Davenport's not a bad team, but the GLIAC is going to be so hyper competitive. The difference between 3 out of 4 and getting the split could end up being huge in 3-4 weeks from now when you're trying to decide who's the regular season champ and the seeding in the GLIAC tournament.
We think it's probably going to be a 3-team race, maybe just a 2-team race between Wayne State and GV. They'll play this week. We'll talk about that in the next segment. I have a feeling of that big series coming up. Hopefully they play with the rain coming. But again, we talked about it last week, Brady. You want to at least get the split. That's what Wayne State did. If you could have gotten 3 or 4, obviously that would have been preferable, but to get the split on the road, now you've played 2 road series already against 2 teams who are pretty decent in Parkside and Davenport. You've got them out of the way.
Parkside split with Saginaw.
Yeah, and the only road series in conference you have left, Brady, is Purdue Northwest, is Roosevelt. And no offense to Roosevelt, but those should be 4 wins, or 3 wins at least, possibly 4. You've got Grand Valley at home this week. You have Saginaw Valley at home for 4 the week after. You end the regular season conference slate with Purdue Northwest at home. So the opportunity is there. By only splitting, does it put you in a position? Grand Valley swept their 4 this week against Purdue Northwest. Does it put you in a position where you want to win? Yeah, you expect that, but do you want to win 3 or 4? Do you think you have to for conference standings wise, because you already have 3 losses and GV's only played 1 series, but they have no losses, to get 3 wins and not just 2? Or if you would have got 3 or 4 at Davenport, then you're thinking maybe a split at home against GV might get the job done. Again, we don't know how the rest of the season is going to play out. But if I'm Wayne State, I have the mentality. You have the mentality you want to win every game, obviously. But against a good team like GV, for not just GLIAC standings purposes, but for maybe NCAA tournament seeding purposes, let's get 3 or 4 from our rivals at home this week. And if we do that, we're right back in the mix.
So Wayne State actually in game 1 had to come back. Drew Hill in the 8th and 9th had a double and a triple to spark the comeback. They were down 4-1 before rattling off 6 runs. I felt bad for Gavin Nash again because last week he had to follow up the no-hitter, so he wasn't getting a lot of love. Yeah. And this time he just got out-dueled. I mean, Gavin Nash pitched 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, didn't walk anyone with 5 Ks. That's good enough to win 9 out of 10 games. He just loses a 2-1 battle in that Sunday loss. Brady Beedon did go yard in the Game 4 win, had 3 RBIs for them. So Wayne State right now is actually tied for 3rd in the GLIAC standings because Grand Valley's 4-0. And Davenport, they did get the sweep earlier, and Saginaw Valley is sitting at 5-3 as well. So they're tied with Wayne State. A lot's going to be decided here soon. You mentioned the series coming up against Grand Valley. But other sports going on. I actually had some really strong results in the women's track and field. The distance runners were out in St. Louis. Emily Gordon, 3rd fastest 1,500-meter time in school history and the fastest in 12 years. Ava Peters, 7th fastest 5K. And Aubrey Mygoski with got a top 10 time in school history in the 10,000 meter. So a pretty strong start to the outdoor season for them. And then the rest of the team was at Cedarville for their open. They finished 3rd out of 25. Kenesha Thomas had won the 400 hurdles, 3rd in the 100-meter hurdles. Ella McCartney won the javelin, and Hayne Bastian finished 2nd in the 200-meter dash, and Megan Zanow finished 2nd in the 100-meter hurdle. So a very strong weekend for our women's track and field team.
Yeah, absolutely. Great results, great finishes. Again, we love to see the other sports here at Wayne State do well as well, other than the ones we talk most about here in the podcast. So shout out to those student athletes for doing a great job and representing Wayne State in a great way.
Men's tennis swept Davenport. They 7-0. Had no problem out
quick.
there. Yes, the women's team lost 4-3 in a tight one, so they fall at Davenport in GLIAC play. Men's and women's golf were in action. The men's golf team finished tied for 5th at the Findlay Open. They were holding that down in Kentucky. Andrew Daly and Troy Chapman tied for 12th, shooting a 213 in 54, which is 3 under par. So that's not a bad weekend for them. Women's golf finished 6th at the Northern Kentucky event. It was Clara Lafferty that finished tied for 7th. She was a 2:31 through the 54 holes. So I think that catches us up with just about everything that happened this past week. I sat down with Max Wasiniak, the newest national champion in Wayne State history. We'll talk with him, and after that, we'll talk about everything coming up in Wayne State. But here is Wayne State national champion Max Wasiniak. All right, now we welcome on a national champion here on Warrior Weekly, Wayne State's diver Max Wasiniak, and we were just talking off the air about how people somehow are always messing up your name. But before we get to that, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Has it gotten old being introduced as national champion Max Wasiniak yet?
It is not. I'm just waiting for next year when I can be 2 times in a row national champion.
So, okay, let's just start. I mean, has the high worn off yet of winning a national title?
A little bit, but every once in a while somebody will come up and be like, congratulations. So it's still great. It still feels awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
still got the trophies hanging up. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like I would, if it was me for at least a month, like no one could tell me anything.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, yeah, no, I'm a national champion. Hi, nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
But so you win the national title in the 1 meter dive.
Yep.
Walk us through that moment, because you were telling me you knew right away. You didn't have to wait to see anyone else's result. On that last dive, you knew you were a national title. So walk me through that last dive and realizing you had you were the national champion.
Yeah, so because I was seated first in prelims, I got to go last in finals. So the person that ended up getting second, Ryan, just did a dive. It was amazing. You know, his score went up on the board. I was doing the math in my head, and I was like, okay, I need 50.15 points to be the national champion. If I got 50, it would have been 50.4, so I still would have won, but it wouldn't have been as cool.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I just need above 50. I can do that. I got 50 in the morning, so we can do it again. And then as soon as I did the dive, I just looked at the board and I waited for the judges, and they gave me 55, and I knew I was ecstatic.
Before the score went up, did you know you nailed it, or were you pretty sure?
I knew I did okay on it. I've never gotten 55 before on it.
Really?
The inwards are my worst category. I cannot do them well at all. So getting 55 on it at nationals, PRing at nationals is one memory. So
yeah, that's just that gets buried. That it was your PR to win it too.
I PR'd on both boards, even though 3 meter was
right. Yeah, that's the other part. That's you just finished third in the 3 meter, and you were telling me that you actually did that after you won the 1 meter. Yeah. So that's got to be an odd feeling, because you're already a national champion, but you still have more to compete in. And then third place is no small accomplishment by any means. I mean, third in the country. I know you want to be the national champion in both, but that's still something worth celebrating. But after you win it all, it's got to feel a little, bittersweet, I guess, to come third.
I mean, it was a little bittersweet just because I knew I missed most of my dives. But I was just happy to be done. Third place is still good, but I got 4th last year, and I missed 3rd last year by, it was point something. So, I mean, getting 3rd is okay, but the 2nd place trophy is different. So I would have loved one of those.
Right.
But yeah, no, I was just happy. Happy I won nationals, and then 3rd place, is okay, I guess, for me.
Yeah, just okay.
Just okay.
When did you know that you had a legit shot at winning a national title this year?
I've been saying it since the start of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, from the start of the season, I've been saying I'm gonna win it. But I really knew I had a really bad Black Tuesday meet, which was just the 30-plus divers all competing for top 18 to get into the meet.
Right, so basically the qualifications for
pretty
nationals.
Much, yeah. So I had a really bad meet there. I got 9th on 1 meter, which is still puts me in the meet.
Right.
And then I got 5th on 3 meter. So doing prelims and winning prelims is when I actually started like, oh my gosh, I just have to hit tonight just like I just did, and I can win it. So that's when it really like crossed my mind that
Right. You'd been saying it all year.
I've
Like,
been
I'm going to
saying
do
it
it. I'm
all
going to do it.
year,
And then the moment comes and it's like,
oh my gosh, I can do it.
I might actually
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this. Oh, so what are the nerves like getting ready?
I was shaking the car with my leg as we were going over. I had my headphones blasting. I was just right here. I was so nervous. I couldn't stop moving, which honestly helps because I don't want my legs to get cold or tired. I just want them to stay warm because I've knee buckled every meet, even though I've won every conference meet. My first hurdle is the worst. I always knee buckle. I always forget how to do it. I always think about how I breathe down the board, which messes me up. And so as long as I'm warm and I feel like it's just a practice, like it ends up going good, and that's what happened. So
I mean, what are you telling yourself? Are you trying to say, hey, this is just another dive, I've done this hundreds of thousands of times, or are you going, all right, this is what I've been working towards? Are you building up the moment in your head?
It's kind of a little bit of both. My first hurdle is all about just do it like how you know how to do it. Because as long as I don't know why I get into my head about the first hurdle, but I do all my hurdles first just in case my knees like give out. They're already done, so it's just back presses after that. But like that first hurdle, as long as I do it good enough, I'll be completely happy, and then the next two hurdles are just the smoothest thing. Right. That's what happened. I PR'd on my first dive too. I've never gotten 60 plus on that, and got 62 on it. So
now you're here, and there's always all right, and then the after scene. It's not a movie. The credits don't roll, and everything's done.
Right.
You still have more career left to do. So at what point is it kind of like, okay, that was awesome. Now now the pressure's on me to repeat. Now I have to look forward to getting back there.
Yeah, I do look forward to next year. I'm gonna up my list like crazy. I'm gonna have a lot harder dives. So I have a better chance at winning 3-meter. But I don't know. I'll probably be nervous again.
Right.
You know, can't let a freshman beat me. So,
so I mean, they'll never take that away from you. You're a national champion forever. You'll be in the halls of Mathi forever as a national champion. What after the meet's all said and done? What was the celebration like? I'm sure your phone had exploded. Walk us through the celebration and the after of the meet.
I mean, as soon as the score came up, fans. The stands erupted. It was great. I was celebrating. I was jumping with joy pretty much. Everybody that I went up against congratulated me from other teams. I mean, everybody's pretty tight on the divers. So having all of them come up to me, having Julio come up to me and say congrats was awesome because, I mean, him and Jason worked so hard to get me here. So that was nice. We took pictures and then... You know, I slept like a baby.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
So talk to me. You talked about the diving community is very tight, you know, with the guys you go with. It's not like some other sports where, you know, I'm going directly up against you and we're nose to nose where it's, hey, you do yours, then I follow you. So what is the competition level like? I mean, obviously you want to beat them, but are you rooting for them? Is it?
I mean, yeah, I want to, obviously I want to beat them. And if they end up messing up, it's kind of, it's not fun to win when they're not doing their best, just because, you know, then there's a huge gap where, you know, they messed up, so maybe they could have won if they, you know, so, I mean, it was awesome winning nationals just because I was more consistent.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm rooting everybody there, I'm rooting for to just absolutely smoke every dive. I mean... The more pretty it is, the stands erupt for everything. I mean, it's fast pace. It's great.
So talked about the environment. You said the stands erupt. About how many people are there? How big is the natatorium there, and what's it like?
That natatorium was big for a D2 college, but pretty small. But the stands were filled. I mean, I had a whole bunch of my family show up.
Right.
There were a lot of swimmers from my team, and then I also had, you know, the other people, parents from other teams, rooting for me as well.
Right.
Just because, I'm friends with a lot of them, and then my parents talk to their parents, and then, so everybody's tight, like I said. And so everybody was congratulating me. So I don't know, it was great.
No, that's awesome. So what does it mean to you to add a national champion to the long proud history of Wayne State swimming now that you're now one of them that they're going to point to 5, 10, 20 years down the road and go, hey, look at these lines, look at who we've produced, and Max Wasiniak's going to be on that list.
I mean, that's just insane to me how I will be remembered here. Because I'm from Ohio. I'm a 2-time state champion from Ohio.
So not a stranger to high pressure moments.
Not a stranger, but having a college title that means more than a state champion is just insane to me. So just I'll be thinking about it for a while.
Because I'm sure when you're being recruited, Coach Peters is going, hey, look at this athlete we had, look at this diver, look at this. These are what we can make you. And now, he's probably going to schools around Ohio and Michigan going, look at Max Wasiniak. We can get you to be like him. And now
we have a big team coming in this next year. So
right.
With all of them, and then hopefully we get a lot more. We'll have a big team. We'll score some points for us finally.
I was gonna say, how many texts and calls did you think you got after that meet was done?
Hundreds.
How long did it take you to respond to all of them?
I was doing them back to back, and it took me a couple hours. So
that's a really good feeling.
Yeah, it was
isn't
great.
it?
Yeah,
that's a really awesome feeling. So, getting to this point, you said you believed it the whole time, but as the season goes on, you realizing it's more and more attainable. How were you able to do that? I mean, was it teammates, coaches, a combination? How were you able to be ready for the moment and continue to grow throughout the season?
Teammates definitely helped. John, the other male diver on the team, we talk smack to each other every practice. Like,
so a good rivalry.
Yeah, it was a good rivalry. We push each other. He pushed me to be really good. We had a competition just to see who can get more new dives this year. It's tied, so next year we'll have to come back and do it again.
You might have the tiebreaker in that competition.
I could.
With the trophy. I think that. Well, I mean, if you're tied, I think that might be the first criteria.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, but he's doing good. And then, obviously the coaches, Julio, him being better than me, always calls me bad anyway, no matter what. So having him there too helps. And then, Jason just pushes me, knows what I should be doing and makes me do it. So.
And I'm sure that helps knowing that, when they see this is what you can be, this is your ceiling. And because I've been there. There's days where you're like, I really don't want to get out of bed. I really don't want to be going through this. When can I get home? And to have a coach that sees that potential and can push you to that, I mean, that has to make all the difference in the world.
It does. Because, with diving, obviously, if the pool's warm, it's way better practice. And if it's cold, my legs don't want to work. So it makes throwing dives way harder. I also had, shin pain and wrist pain pretty much the entire season. So that didn't make it easier either. Just pushing through it, having him understand that I was in pain and let me take it easy some days and then go hard the next.
So are those pretty common injuries for divers to deal with? Like what's the wear and tear look like throughout a diving season?
Back, shins, and wrist. Yeah, and I mean, every once in a while you'll get a concussion too, but
just from hitting the water wrong.
Yeah. You're going in like this, and you move your arms before you hit the water, and you just get a nice forehead smack.
See, I think that's something that a lot of people wouldn't think about. Like, they're going to associate concussions with football or hockey or soccer, but I don't think they'd ever think, oh, diving, you're at a concussion risk.
Yeah, I mean, when you're spinning that quick, I've never gotten one, luckily.
Right.
But, I mean, I'm pretty sure my entire team has. So, yeah, when you're spinning that quick and you hit the water, I mean, it doesn't feel good. No. We call it bacon strips. It's when your body changes color in a certain pattern when you smack too hard. And so we get those all the time. I mean, smacking, getting out, and then doing the same thing and smacking again really doesn't feel good. Ari, one of the female divers, smacked her back at nationals and then got back up and smacked her front at nationals right after that. So that was
that's a tough sequence.
It's not very fun at all. She took it like a champ though.
Right. I mean because I mean you're moving pretty quick. So and I mean how much of I guess a 1 degree here or 1 degree there, how little margin of error is there when you're diving?
I mean, I guess it's pretty small. It just depends on what you do to mess it up. Because, like, I can do a dive really well by standing it up and going up, and I can make it legal by accidentally pushing it out and going across the pool. But if I am going across the pool and I don't get into my tuck and then I slip out of my tuck, I'm pretty much going to kill myself.
You're going to hit pretty hard.
I did that once on a front 3.5 on 3 meter, and I landed in a cannonball. And that took me out for a solid 15 minutes.
What was it, on the back or just
right here? Yeah, little on the back, but mostly, my lower side. So
was that 1 or 3 meters?
That was 3 meters.
So that's I don't know if the average person realizes how high that is.
3 meter doesn't sound like too much. I mean, it's just 9 feet.
Yeah, just 3 meters.
I mean, it's up there.
Yeah, but then you also, I mean, how high do you normally, like the apex of the jump? How high did you say you are?
It's probably another 9 feet.
Yeah, so you're almost 20 feet in the air then.
Yeah.
That's pretty high and a lot of velocity coming down. So, Max, I do really appreciate it. I mean, anything else? An open forum to say, I'm a national champion. This is awesome. I mean, I just want to give you the platform because, we've been doing the show for 2 months, 3 months, and we already have a national champion on it. So thank you for that. You timed this really well for me.
Thank you for having me.
No, of course. I mean,
appreciate it.
Again, I'm just going to keep calling you national champion Max Wasiniak because I know if I did something a quarter as cool as that, I wouldn't shut up about it. I know my old teammates, I don't shut up about the one time I scored a touchdown. So, I mean, if I was a national champion, I wouldn't ever let them live it down.
Right. Yeah, so, as a joke, I'll always be like, "Hi, Max Wasiniak, national champion." I'm sure people despise me for that.
Oh,
but, I'm having fun.
But they would do the same. Yeah, they do the same thing if they were a national champion, right? Yeah, absolutely. So, Max, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's do the same time next year, and we can say double national champion in the 1 and 3 meter.
Three-time.
Yeah, 3-time, 2 in 1 year.
2 in 1 year.
Let's just make an appointment for this time next year.
Right.
All right, Max. Well, I appreciate it. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Again, they can never take that away from you.
No, they can't.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on now. Coming up this week in Wayne State Athletics. With baseball and softball, by the time you're listening to this, hopefully we played on Tuesday. Thunderstorms were in the forecast. Wayne State softball is supposed to play Ashland. Baseball actually would be their home opener against Ohio Dominican. Hopefully they played, and hopefully they have some momentum coming into this weekend because it's going to be some consequential series, especially for baseball. They take on Grand Valley. GV swept Purdue Northwest, which I think was expected. Purdue Northwest has struggled in baseball, but Grand Valley's got some absolute studs. Like, they had a lot of hype coming into the preseason, and they've lived up to it. And I think this is the big test. Okay, hey, I have touted this Wayne State baseball team a lot. I have been behind them. I have been yelling about how they're a hammer and they're going to be an issue for a lot of teams. This is where you've got to prove it. If you want to be a team that, is getting national love, is getting, talked about as the favorite in the GLIAC, the best team in this conference, you take 3 of 4, and that's not going to be an easy feat.
No, I always get, I don't know if made fun of is the right word, but people who listen to my broadcast, especially with the basketball, always say, man, you're always so positive. You always try to think of, the glass kind of half full kind of philosophy. And I always try to take that approach on the broadcast. So I guess I'll say that even if Wayne State doesn't perform well this weekend, I don't think it discounts the fact that you said they're going to be a hammer this year. They still could be a hammer, and they still might be a hammer whether they play well this weekend or not. But I think you're right in that it's definitely a measuring stick series against a very, very good baseball team that can hit the crap out of the ball. So we're going to see if the Wayne State pitching staff is as good as advertised. I think they are. I'm not saying they're not, but if they can come out this weekend and put up some numbers against Grand Valley and that offense, I think that's going to show people, not just in the GLIAC and not just in the region, but around the country, that I think's been giving Wayne State a lot of respect.
Oh,
already,
absolutely.
But even more so that, hey, this might be a team, not just, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but not just a regional, team that can win a regional, but a team that maybe can compete for a national title. And I don't think I'm too outlandish in saying that with what we've seen from Wayne State's baseball team this year. But you get them at home. The weather's going to be iffy. I think most of the games will get played because the field turf out there. It's going to be warmer, but could be some rain to deal with. So we'll see how that affects things. But it should be fun. There might be maybe some different start times than what's scheduled because of the rain. So I think both teams will have to be flexible this weekend. And it's always nice to be at home in those situations when you're in your own clubhouse and your own surroundings as opposed to being on the road. And do we come off the bus? Do we stay in the hotel? What do we do? So I think advantage Wayne State with the weather in that respect. And I can't wait to watch it. I'll be there for all the games. You will be too, Brady, I have a feeling. And we're going to be calling some games together this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see Wayne State's baseball team in person. I can't wait to see Mr. Lowry go out there, hopefully in game one, and shut down Grand Valley and get the series off to a good start. I suspect they'll pitch game one. I guess it hasn't been announced yet, but I just suspect he will. And, I can't wait. We've been talking about this series for a month now on the podcast, Brady. So let's get after it. Let's go. Let's keep that rain away. The weather's starting to look a lot better for Friday. Thursday, a little iffy. Friday actually looks pretty good. Saturday might be a little iffy, but Friday's the day they're playing the doubleheader this week because of the Easter holiday on Sunday. They're trying to get all the games in before Sunday. So the single game Thursday, doubleheader Friday, single game Saturday. We'll see if they have to switch that around a little bit, but I have a feeling both those games Friday will get played, and let's go. Let's get after it.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Valley right now on the year, they're 24-4. Again, only 4-0 in GLIAC play because they didn't play the first week, but they have been really, really good all year long. They played some pretty good teams down in Florida. They went down. I know they went to Missouri before then. Wayne State's 21-5.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a series that not just the GLIAC's looking at, but people that follow D2 baseball around the country are going to keep tabs in on this series.
It's the two best teams so far, and I've been paying attention to some of the standings in the GMAC and the GLVC, the other two conferences in our region here in the Midwest, and these are the two best teams stat-wise and record-wise in the region. So this is probably the series of the weekend around the country. I don't want to maybe stake my reputation on that without looking at some series maybe going on down south and out west, but this is, as far as the Midwest goes, this is where it's at this week for Division II baseball. I can't wait to see it. But again, you mentioned Grand Valley has 4 losses. Wayne State has 5 overall. That's why I said in the previous segment this is such a big weekend, not just for the GLIAC standings purposes, but for Midwest region standings purposes. And getting
this could decide who hosts the regional.
Well, you got the 2, and then you have the super, but it could be who gets the number 1 seed. So if you 1 and 2 seeds will host regionals, but even if you're the 2 seed, you'd have to go to the 1 seed for the super regional. You want to host that super regional as well. You want to get as many home games at Harwell Field as you can if you're Wayne State. And I think 3 or 4 this weekend will go a long way into maybe giving Wayne State the advantage for now, because these 2 teams I have a feeling will play at least once, maybe even twice in the conference tournament that second week of May. But for now, it's going to give the team that wins this series, if somebody does win the series, if it's split 2-2, I guess we just kind of say, hey, nice job, and we'll just pick up and go on next week, and we'll see you in a month in the GLIAC tournament. But if one of the 2 teams win the series, I think it gives them a leg up for that number 1 seed.
Softball, they're going out west. They're going to take on Grand Valley, who right now is second in the conference. They're 5-1, and then they have a pretty big doubleheader against Purdue Northwest. So right now, Saginaw Valley's 8-0. They're the favorites in the conference. They are going to be the standard bearer until someone knocks them off. Grand Valley is trying to contend to be that team to knock them off. And then there's a glut in the middle. Purdue Northwest, Ferris, and Wayne State are all 4-4. Wayne State has been swept by Ferris State already. They get a chance to go to Purdue Northwest. This is a weekend that if you can come back 3-1, you're looking like you're in a good spot to be, in that inside track for early on for that 3 spot in the GLIAC, which the way Coach Tynes, it's been a little better every year. First year was not great. Second year showed improvement. Last year they were flirting with 500. If you can be at or above there when they're 12-13 right now overall, 4-4 in league play, if you can have a strong weekend out west, now you're putting yourself in a good spot with 2 tough road series.
I think if you would ask Coach Tynes this morning, we tape on Monday, but when it comes out, even Wednesday morning, you would tell her, hey, you can go 3-1 on Saturday or Friday and Saturday. Would you take it? Oh yeah, she probably would. Hey, let's just stay home, enjoy the holiday weekend. We won't even go play the games. We'll take it right now. I think 3-1 would be great. Even 2-2, I think would be a nice road trip for Wayne State. They got to find the offense though, Brady. I'm telling you, they can't go out and expect to beat Grand Valley 1-0 or Purdue Northwest 1-0, and can't expect to go 12 innings and keep a team scoreless for 5 extra innings before you finally scratch across the run. You gotta show some more offensive ability this weekend. I think Wayne State can, and we'll see if they can do it. Grand Valley is going to be tough. Your mindset in that is probably let's get a split. Let's win one of the two. Don't care which one, first or second. Let's get a split, and then we'll hopefully maybe sweep Purdue Northwest to get to that 3-1 that you talked about. Going to be tough. Wayne State again 0-4 on the road so far in conference play. Need to get off the schneid there, but hey. Some momentum coming after the 4 wins at home this weekend. Let's go on the road and let's get some wins, especially at Grand Valley. Always nice to beat the Lakers.
Yeah, and I think it's a checkpoint to see where they are, because I think they are taking a step forward where they're winning the games they weren't. They're finding ways to win, where last year they couldn't really find those extra ones. Last year they maybe split this past weekend, and you're limping into the series where the confidence has to be there going over to Grand Valley. So hopefully softball can get a couple there. They are supposed to play, again, as you're listening, hopefully played Ashland and got a couple of games in then. That's a midweek. Now, I guess we can talk about this a little bit. How much stock do you put into midweeks, especially like, I don't know if Sydney Long pitched or not, if the games happened, but she just threw like 300 and some odd pitches. I don't know. I think maybe you give her just an extra day off, because I'm assuming, again, just an assumption, she's probably going to have to throw 2 full games this weekend as well.
Yeah, I probably would give her the day off on Tuesday. We'll see if that happened or not. I think, and this isn't just for this week, but any midweek game, whether you're talking baseball, softball, I think it's an opportunity to work on some things, get some other players in the mix. Maybe you wouldn't normally play on a conference weekend type game to get them some experience. But I think if your Wayne State softball team, especially with the kind of lack of offense you saw last week at home, might be a chance to get the offense going, get some confidence with the play, get some bats on balls, to be really simplistic about it, and score some runs and kind of get some. I hate using the word momentum all the time, because momentum's tough from game to game or day to day, but just confidence, I think, is the better word for baseball, softball. Confidence, get some confidence at the plate. Use that on Tuesday. Hopefully, get the games in. They'll be played by now as you're listening to this, if they did. But maybe you wake up Wednesday morning, the podcast is in your feed, and they would have scored 10 and 8 runs in 2 games.
Yeah, and all we're talking about means
and all we're talking about the offense means absolutely nothing. And hey, let's go. We're back in it. But I think you use the midweek games, because there'll be midweek games for Wayne State next week as well. So we can talk about that too. That hey, if the offense struggles, let's get the offense clicking a little bit during the middle of the week, and then hopefully that carries over into your more important conference games on the weekend.
Other action that will be decided by the time this comes out: men's and women's golf are in Florence for the Cedarville Belterra Classic. So we'll know how the men's and women's golf teams did. So they're competing as we record this. Tennis, they are going to host Indy on Friday and Michigan Tech on Saturday. So a chance for both squads to get some home cooking, something they haven't gotten a ton of. And maybe, knock on wood, that we have it outside and not in Duchesne.
It's scheduled to be outside. We'll see if that happens with the rain. By the way, what a Friday and Saturday on campus at Wayne State with sports. You have the baseball team hosting Grand Valley in a huge series we've been talking about for a month, and then tennis at home too, hopefully outside as well. So Friday and Saturday are going to be fun days to be on campus, weather permitting, of course. Keep that rain away until all the activities
As
are
of
done.
right now, though, there's lightning in the forecast, and rain every day from here to next Monday.
Well, April showers do bring May flowers, Brady. So
guess what? By May, all the sports are basically done. We don't have time. It's a sprint. We don't have time for that. But we'll see. I mean, the baseball having turf helps, and obviously tennis will compete inside or outside. But yeah, it's starting to get a little warmer, and of course the rain comes with that as well. So, and finally, women's track on Saturday. They will be just up the road a bit at the Oakland Golden Grizzly Invite on Saturday. So, hey, that was a very strong start. Anytime you're putting new names in the top 10 of record books, and for the first competition too as well. hopefully there's more growth, and that's just a step in, hey, someone said a PR again. Oh, you have another one. Ava Peters is a little faster this time. Or Aubrey Magowski is a little faster this time, and just keeps besting that. Hopefully we see that as they come back to Michigan.
You know what I like about all these records being set as well? We talked about Sidney Long breaking the school record for strikeouts in a game. It keeps Jeff, Cooper, and Henry on their toes in the sports information office. I mean, they're the best in the business, all three of them, no doubt about it, but it makes them work a little bit. I think they think they can take the spring off and just kind of coast and be like, whatever. No. They got to stay on their toes because these student athletes here at Wayne State keep setting records. Every time we play games, there's records. They're having to look up records in the record books and everything, and I'm just kidding, of course. Those three guys do a great job, but keeps them on their toes. I like it.
All right. Well, I think that has everything. Again, Thursday, one game with baseball. Friday, doubleheader. Saturday, the series finale between Wayne State and Grand Valley. We'll be on the calls for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, make sure you tune in on the Warrior Sports Network. If you don't have Flow Sports and don't want to pay for the video stream, you can listen to all the softball and baseball home action for free on the Warrior Sports Network. Make sure you tune into that. We'll have every softball and baseball home game the rest of the season on the air. One of us, Brady or I, or Sean Belegian, I think, is calling some softball coming up later in the year as well. But I can't wait to be on the air with you, Brady, this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday instead of the traditional Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And hopefully we're talking about another strong series from Wayne State. They drop the hammer this weekend.
You got a lot on the line here, Brady.
I do. I've been talking it up a lot.
Hey, it was just like me, real quick, to wrap it up, just like me that I kept talking about the women's basketball team being a hammer for Wayne State this year, too. And I think I was proven right, even though they lost to Grand Valley. I have to mention it. Grand Valley did win the national championship in women's basketball on Saturday. They won by 25 points.
They dropped the confetti early.
Game. So again, Wayne State women's basketball team was a hammer this year because they beat the national champion. Only team to beat Grand Valley all year was Wayne State. And the other time they played them in the regular season, they should have won if they wouldn't gotten screwed over by the officials. Lost by 1. Unfortunately, lost the game that mattered by 20 in the tournament. But Grand Valley was a hammer too. But Wayne State women's basketball team, a top 10 team this year, no doubt about it. Carrie Laura and the young ladies, what a great job all season long. But I was right on that, and I think Brady. We're going to be 2 for 2 because you're going to be right about the baseball team. I have a feeling they're going to win 3 or 4 this weekend and prove you right.
I am hopeful. Well, we'll talk about it all next week. Thank you for listening to Warrior Weekly. I'm Brady Beedon. He's Kevin Brechmacher. We'll talk to you next week.